All right, hey, shalom, shalom. Call Loyam La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakodash. A double honors the apostles, elders at Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Akim, pushing work in truth and in sincerity. All right, so I didn't have a title for this lesson, but I want to call it something along the lines of how the social credit system is tied to the B system and how the image essentially is how it's going to work. Okay, and just tidbit information from this article. It says here, could Airbnb's ban on this conservative filmmaker's parents be a preview of Chinese-style social credit system? All right, and yeah, so let's get into it, okay? Because it's just showing you how Esau is going to be able to lock you out of society, all right? And you're not going to be able to do certain things in society if you formulate an opinion outside of outside the public opinion, all right, or status quo. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna read a little bit into it. All right, it says woke corporations are seemingly testing the waters for a Chinese-style social credit system in the United States. On Tuesday, conservative filmmaker and journalist Lauren Southern wrote on Twitter that her parents have been banned from housing rental provider Airbnb solely because of their connection to her. You see, and this right here is just grounds. This is just showing you a little bit of what they're going to be doing in the future. If you're connected to certain people, they can cut you off from society, and especially when you think about us and our family, that's grounds for them, giving us up to the authorities, so to speak, or the establishment. All right, just because our opinion differentiates from public opinion and known opinion, which is pushed by the powers that be. All right, okay. So this is the Twitter stamp right here. It says, "My parents just got banned from Airbnb for being related to me." All right. So this is nothing but more things to come. Okay, because the social credit system deals in rewards and punishments. Okay, punishments come by way of if you have an opinion outside of the establishment, whatever is established in mainstream, or what the government is saying, even though it could be wrong, even though it can be immoral, and this is how these are the tests that we're going to be facing and are facing. All right, because some of us is shadow banned, what they call shadow banned. All right, some of us are already you can't rent a car, like on certain apps like Turo or other apps. you know um, you can't get a credit card at certain stores. Just to give you an example. All right, but it's going to how can I say, it's going to mutate into something which is you know way more restrictive, or worse. All right, because we're headed into those times where Esau he's just going to cut off a lot of people from society because they don't follow him. All right, and that's the game that he's playing. All right, okay, he's going to generate starvation. He's going to generate famines. All right, and if you think outside of the status quo or public opinion, then he's going to cut you off. That's what the beast system is all about. All right, unless you take his mark. So if you take his mark, that means you're down with what he's delivering. You're down with what he's saying is good. All right, okay, which we know what he's down with is completely opposite of what the Heavenly Father is about. All right. She says, "How is this sane in any way? It's not, because we're living in this new world order, global reset society. All right, we live in a technocratic society that's ran by scientists who are completely insane and who completely want control. All right, and dominance of the world, not just not just the power, but they want people's souls as if they were God. This is what we're dealing with. All right. So I'm gonna read a little bit more, and I'm gonna go into a few precepts in Lord willing is edifying. All right, because it's just a template or an example of what's to come. All right. So we should be able to discern through the Spirit, and and understand what this means for us at the end of the day. All right, because this world is centered around us, and really, there, eventually, it's going to come to us being abandoned, us being casted out of society, us being persecuted, and the Lord is essentially raising up a standard and protecting His own. All right, okay, so so this is the letter I guess they received. It says, we have an update to share. We've removed you from Airbnb platform because your account is closely associated with a person who isn't allowed to use Airbnb. This means you'll no longer be able to book reservations on Airbnb. For the safety of our community, we may remove accounts that are closely associated with people who aren't allowed to use Airbnb. All right. And this remember, man, this is what does it mean for us? Okay. That's what you gotta, that's what you gotta see. Okay. And most people would be like, well, why does it matter? Because again, man, what it says, a wise person foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. And ultimately what this means for us is that we have to do what the scripture says, be even as pilgrims upon earth. All right, 2 Ezra 16. Okay, we're gonna have to be in that pilgrim-like mindset, excuse me, because we're not gonna be able to use these accommodations, and these conveniences of this society like we're using them now. Okay, and mind you, all right, you got the Fed now that's coming in July. All right, and they're people are talking about a total blackout, a total global reset, where they reset everything, all right, and set up the CBDCs and the social credit system, okay, and certain allowances that they're going to allow the population to have, like especially if you're on Medicare, all right, especially if you're on like stuff like Medicare. For an example, let me grab this real quick. I'm gonna pause it. Be right back. So just for an example, this is how they're going to lure people in. So Wisconsin has a new food allowance everyone on Medicare can apply. All right. And so that's how they're going to be pretty much doing things. So if you're part of like government assistance and like welfare, food stamps, SNAP, whatever the hell it is, they're going to lure people in, okay, towards the B system. All right, Slocky. They're going to lure people in to the B system by, giving them certain allowances. And you're only, you're going to be qualified for certain allowances if you're signed up for certain, government assistance and so on and so forth. All right. So but the point is, it's going to get diabolical. You're dealing with the devil. All right. We're dealing with the devil, and we know that. So I'll read a little bit more. This paragraph essentially says the same thing. All right. It says, what we are seeing in Western societies is that you don't need the government to directly silence people and chill speech. All right. It says instead, left-wing institutional power. All right. And hint, it says left-wing because of, it's on the left side of the spectrum, so to speak. Okay. It's the left hand. All right. We know what the left hand is. It's the left hand. It's the adversarial plane. All right. As opposed to the right hand, you have the right hand, which is essentially the good, all right, or the righteous side. Okay. All right, because we know the Lord has he has, for example, angels on the right hand side, and then he has angels on the left hand side, all right, that do his bidding. Okay. So I'll continue. It says this is both public and private, is brought to bear to punish people for what some regard as wrong think. You see, and immediately 1984 Orwellian, the what I think it was a book and a film that was made about the an Orwellian society, which we can actually look that up really quick. All right, let me see. I think it might kick me off of this though. But you know what? We'll do this. All right. Okay, Salaki. You get to see my most recent tabs. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna do this real quick. We're gonna look up Orwellian. There you go. So what is the meaning of Orwellian? Is an adjective describing a situation, idea, or societal condition that George Orwell identified as being destructive to the welfare of a free, open society. And mind you, we don't live in what they would call a democracy, which I call it demonocracy, because, you know, in a capitalist, a predatory capitalist system, you know, and I got that term from the elder Ariala. All right, predatory capitalism. All right, because this is what this society does. They feed off the ignorances of people, and they capitalize off the ignorances of people, and that's how people make a fortune. All right, but we are ruled by a technocracy. People like scientists, people who are the brains of society, and you know they get to run the society as they see fit. And most of their belief sets and their ideology is based on oppression. All right, you know, through sacrificing the masses of the people. All right, and this is what they believe. You know, the Georgia Guidestones. These are the individuals who, you know, commemorate the Georgia Guidestones. They make movies and put ideas towards, these philosophies. Okay, and they push them. They push them on the world. They invest, and they have a stake in the world, so they can do these certain things. All right, and that's why it's important to understand just that aspect. All right, so the Orwellian society is destructive to the welfare of a free and open society. And then you have that book made by George Orwell. Was it a book or a movie? Salakia. It was a book, okay, but they made a movie called 1984. Orwell wrote 1984 just after World War II ended, wanting it to serve as a warning to his readers. He wanted to be certain that the kind of future presented in the novel should never come to pass, even though the practices that contribute to the development of such a state were abundantly present in Orwell's time. All right, and you're talking about Edomite, the Edomite establishment. Okay, and this was the ideals that were going back and forth in that time, passed through scientific journals. They were, the Karl Marxes, the people that, I'm telling you, the scientific people, the people that really on the left-hand side of the spectrum, who deal in witchcraft, all right, diligently sought out these things and diligent, because they understand the truth. And in order to know the truth, you have to try to, spread lies. But in doing and spreading lies, they're able to set up their, the change, and all right, and try to push the change on society. So Salaki, all right. Okay, going back to this article, is Airbnb's ban on this conservative filmmaker's parents be a preview of Chinese style social credit system? And it will, okay, because right now China or Asia or Moab, however you want to say it. All right. Those who know. All right. The Moabites, according to the Bible. All right. That's the biblical nationality. You know, they're mirroring themselves after, you know, the beast system. All right. The westernized world, Esau system. Okay. So this is in full swing in their society. All right. On the other side of the planet. It says in Fox News appearance with host Tucker Carlson, who just lost his job. All right. He just lost his job. Why? Because, you know, now what's about to be set in is the full, you know, they're not going to have anybody with those talking points like he has. That's against, blatant corruption. All right. And and guys like him are, they're subject to being banned, shadow banned, and blacklisted from society as well, you know. And this is going to be a test for everybody. The scriptures talk about the hour of temptation. The hour of temptation really is going to consist of when they, cast you out of society, all right, and then you got to fend for yourself. They already got things set in place that won't allow, fugitive, people to take part, and that's what essentially we're going to become, pilgrims, fugitives, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be running from the long arm of the wicked law, all right, just to survive. All right, so it says Tucker Carlson on Wednesday night Southern explained how this sort of tactic represents an escalation in the left's culture war strategy. And that's what it is, a culture war, all right, because they're bringing decadence and they're trying to eliminate anything and everything that's traditional. And this article was like a few months ago. It was in February, all right. And so we just reached May Day, all right. And so this ain't too far off. Okay, it says there has definitely been a Pandora's box open in the culture war, Southern told the Fox News host, right? And the culture war consists of them coming after anything traditional or somewhat traditional, the family structure, anything that's morality based or good morality based, they're going after. Okay. So it says, I think progressiveness have realized it says, I think progressives have realized with the laws we have in place defending civil liberties, they can't bring a social credit system in yet. Right. That's why they got to do the Great Reset. All right. That's why they got to shut everything down, shut off the grid, shut off the power so people can go in an uproar, and then they'll be able to set up their authority through chaos. Okay. So they found a way to circumvent it through the corporate class. They can just impose a social credit system on us by using big tech. You see, all right, and that's what it's centered around, tech. We live in a technocracy. The scientists, everybody that's developing technology in this time, they're put up on a pedestal. They the ones that control everything. So the big tech groups, all these individuals who people have interactions with on a daily basis, they're going to run everything. Their power is going to be in their hands to do as they please. And that's what Revelations 13 goes into. All right. And ultimately, we know it's at the very top is Esau, Edom. All right. Who is bringing about this system. Okay. To ensure his plight as God, or so he can play God and control every damn thing. All right, it's now becoming easier to imagine a world in which, for instance, your bank won't let you access your own money because you said a man can't become a woman on social media. So we seeing the Jordan Petersons, we're seeing the Carl Tuckersons, we're seeing people being Andrew Tate's. These individuals are being attacked because of their viewpoints. We're seeing this, okay? So we need to have discernment, all right? How much more the prophets? Because we the one that changed the vibration of the world. We changed the whole vibration of the world. The reason why people are coming out the way they're coming out and speaking against the system is because of what? We the ones that push the vibration first. And that vibration is wave, and essentially people just catch on because it's the spirit of the Lord rising people up, because we in the end, all right? It says when Carson's producer, Greg Ray, pressed Airbnb on why Southern was banned from its service in the first place, the online service responded with mealy-mouthed mush about Southern being affiliated with hate groups. There you go. That's going to be the premise. The premise is going to be you're affiliated with a hate group, so you can't access our services. Okay. However, the Airbnb spokesman never said which supposed hate groups those were. All right. And they don't have to. Anybody that's against them is the hate group. All right. Anybody against anybody in any position is going to be a hate group in the time that we're coming in. It says, as we've seen with the liberals, media's, big techs, and even the federal government's reliance on dishonest left-wing activist organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center as sources, the definition of hate group can extend to pretty much anyone on the right side of the political spectrum. And that's right. So anybody that's on the opposite side of the agenda. In Southern's case, there was good news, if it can be called that. Airbnb backed down after her story went viral and was exposed. A spokesman for the company said the ban was a mistake, but it's a little hard to believe that banning people because of a family member's political views was just a simple misunderstanding. Now, look, we got to understand how it's going to apply to us, okay? Because this is just coming to what, it's going to be strictly passed. All right, we're going to have to deal with a draconian society, all right? And what does draconian mean? All right. I think it goes into being cruel, draconian, meaning excessively harsh and severe. The Nazis destroyed the independence of the press by a series of draconian laws, right? So anybody that's formulating an opinion outside of public opinion, which would be the establishment's opinion, they're going to be hit with harsh penalties. Okay, they're going to be treated different. And that's what Revelations 13:15 goes into. All right. Oh, shit. All right, Salakia. So, draconian. And this is what we're headed to, the draconian way of living. All right. So, let's see. Right. So Revelations 13:15, because the point I want to bring out here is just that, because it goes into how if you don't worship the image, you should be killed. Right. So let's go into it, because it's something I want to pull from it. Just proving that it's just not killing you. They're going to separate you. All right. And that's what it goes into also. They're going to separate you and cut you off from society. And then I want to get 2nd Ezra 16 and 39. All right. So Revelations 13:15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. Now the image is dealing with society's norms, social norms. It mirrors a way of life, which is the Roman Empire. Okay. All right. It mirrors a way of life. Okay. And that's what the image goes into, which is icon. Here it tells you, it says icon. All right. Right here under image 15, Strong's G 1504, which goes into image. image, figure, a likeness. All right. And I think it has a point here. Ooh, look at here. It says apply to man on account of his power of command. See, and that's what we're dealing with. All right. We're dealing with men. All right. And their power of command. You see, icon, it says a likeness, i.e., literally a statue. All right. So it could be a literal statue. Okay. Profile. But when you look at the infrastructure of this place, what is it mirrored after? It's mirrored after Rome. It says, or figuratively representation. And so what is Rome known for? All right. In the Edomite hegemony. That's what it's known for. Is the Edomite rule, Edomite authority. All right. Who pretty much engulfed the whole world and consumed the whole world, and and got the whole world to bow to its authority by way of what? Plunder, war. All right. Okay. And in some cases, genocide. All right. And we're dealing with that same beast. Okay. Nothing new under the sun. It says figuratively representation, resemblance, image. Okay. So now that we got that, we can go back and look up to kill. All right. Because they don't have to just kill you. All right. But part of them killing you is them cutting you off from society. They can cut you off from the goods and services. All right. And I know it's just Airbnb, right? You might say, what you going too deep, but this is just implications for something very much greater and something very much more graver. All right. The social credit system. Okay. So they can do more. All right. And these corporations, these are the ones that have the rule in our time. We live in a corporatocracy. All right. The world is not ran by politicians. It's ran by corporations. And that's what people don't understand. All right. So here.
Strong's G 2443. Hina. Hina.
Let me make sure. Should be killed. Hina. Right? It says that in order that, so that, right? Okay. Let's see. Let's go into the root word. It's a former part of
Strong's G 1438. Heautu. Heautu.
Okay. So it says here, Heautu. Okay. Him, herself, itself, themselves. Right? And the Strong's definition says Heautu from a reflective pronoun, otherwise obsolete, and the genitive case, dative case, or accusative case of G846. Him, her, it, them, also, in conjunction with the personal pronoun. Okay. So it's giving you these, own self, he, himself, his, own, itself, one to another. Slakia, and I'm skipping certain words. It says our, thine, own, that she had, their own selves. Okay. All right, so it's not giving me exactly what I want. So H46. Let me see. It might be in another verse. The next verse. There's Salaki on that. All right. Let's see. Maybe I clicked the wrong thing. Oh, should be killed. Should be. Oh, here we go. This the word.
Strong's G 615. Apartino. Apartino.
All right, now to pay attention. It says what? Apartino, which means to kill in any way, whatever. So another way of killing you is cutting you off from something. To destroy, to allow, to perish, right? So, and as for us, what this means for us, when the time comes down to it, when the reset happens, they're gonna have people that's blacklisted. Of course, we're gonna be blacklisted because we against this fucking society, right? They're gonna allow us to perish. They're gonna abandon us. They're gonna lock us out the system. And the only way to be part of the system is to take the mark, and in which that's coming. That's gonna be the set in stone. You're not gonna be able to do anything except you take that mark, right? So to kill in any way, whatever, to destroy, to allow to perish, so I can lock you out of the system and I can allow you to perish. And that's what it's going to happen. That's how it's going to happen. All right. That's why the scriptures talk about the hour of temptation. All right. Where you're going to be tried. You're going to be tried. How? You're going to be locked out of a system of globalists who control every resource in agriculture, you name it. They're going to control everything, not just in agriculture, but in medicine. And if you're not able to grow it and maintain it by yourself, then you're going to be in trouble. Which in a lot of places they're going to be patrolling, and people are going to be snitching on people and telling on people that's not part of the system and that's locked out of the system, and they're going to come and remove you from where you at. All right, and that's what draconian means. It's going to be harsh. It's going to be harsh. Metaphor: to extinguish, abolish, to inflict mortal death, to deprive of spiritual life, and procure eternal misery in hell. All right, and we know hell is conditioned. He ain't talking about no mythical place. All right, so to kill outright, figuratively, to destroy, put to death, to kill. It's like, all right, and they're gonna be doing both accounts. They're gonna be putting people putting people to death when it gets worse, when people are really struggling and people have to fight, and they're gonna be fighting against government. Brother Tazawam always mentions a movie with Wesley Snipes and Stallone. I can't remember. I used to watch this all the time though. Man, I can't remember it. For the love of me. Goodness gracious. Here, let's see if I can find it. Demolition Man. All right. They had a scene in Demolition Man. If you're familiar with the movie, you had masses, amount of people who were discarded from society, who lived in the underworld, so to speak. They lived in the sewers. All right, and they were discarded from essentially society because of the viewpoints, because of they didn't want to conform to the fashion of life. All right, and they had to steal, rob. They became criminals in society because they were cut off. All right, and they became criminals. And for an example of them, Revelations 13:15, them cutting you off and die if you don't believe, or being put to death. They're gonna put you to death because people are gonna be in an uproar and in chaos, and they're gonna have their their New World Order bodyguards, so to speak, to cut people off. All right, so that's why. What does this mean for us? That's why the scriptures say what it say: "Be ye even as pilgrims upon earth." All right, and a pilgrim is one that is a wayfarer who is on a religious mission, searching for a miracle. All right, and that's what we're gonna need. We're gonna need a miracle. All right, so this is 2 Ezra 16. All right, and I'll start up a few. Okay. All right, 16 and 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. Part of the plague is Esau. He's a plague. All right, part of the plagues is Esau. He's gonna play. He's the reason why most of these plagues are coming to pass, because he's generating certain crises. through sabotaging him. All right. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. So like a woman having a child, all right, when the child comes, the pain becomes greater, and that's what's going to happen in society. Even so shall the plagues be, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon earth, and the world shall mourn. All right, mourning is a way of crying because of grief. All right, because of misery, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Oh, my people, hear my words. So we're supposed to hear these words, hear the prophecy, understand these things, okay? Because part of hearing is understanding. With all thy knowledge, get understanding, right? Understand what the will of the Lord is. We understand how this plays towards the will of the Lord. Make you ready to thy battle. What battle? The hour of temptation. That's going to be the battle. Revelations 13, 15 to 18. All right. Or on down, whatever. All right. Okay. So, and it says, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Oh, my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. All right, because this is an individual battle. Everybody is going to have to fight individually. All right, and that's just how it's set up. All right, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon earth. So we're supposed to be in a pilgrim mindset. We're supposed to be as pilgrims. All right, and it goes into detail, right? He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth. Why? Away. And he that buyeth as one that will lose. Why? Because you cannot buy or sell save he that had the mark. That's what it says in Revelations 13 and 16. All right, that's why you got to be as a pilgrim. You got to let those things go. All right, he that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit by it. You're not going to have profit by it, okay? Unless it's charity, okay? Unless it's through charity, unless you like seeing people being healed. If you have products like that that help people out, okay. So it says he that soweth, slack it, and he that buildeth as he that hath not that slack it, as he that shall not dwell therein. All right, because this is going to be the conditions. This is why they taking over all the farmlands. This is why they buying up everything. All right, it's for control, because they want to be like unto God. All right, so I got a few more precepts, maybe just one. It's like I'm going through some pain right now. Psalms 56. All right, and let me see if I can get in here. Psalms 56, and I can start at 1. All right, it says, to the chief musician upon Jonathan Rekokim Miktam of David, when the Philistines took him in Gath. Be merciful unto me, O God, for man would swallow me up. He fighting daily oppresseth me. And they fight daily. Okay, the scriptures say they don't go to sleep unless they do evil. All right, and they think upon evil. Micah 2:2, I believe. All right, they devise evil plans. Okay, all right, because it's and they bring it to pass because it's power. Because they have power. All right, to do so. Mine enemies would daily swallow me up, for they be many that fight against me. All right. Remember, we live in a corporatocracies, and these corporate entities are going to be playing as God. All right. Like, for example, Netflix, you can't password share. All right. They put a limit on that, like as if it matters. Right. For them, it's just numbers in their pockets. The more password shares, and this is how Esau thinks, it's all about money. It's less people, that probably is buying their product. Okay. So it says, mine enemies would daily swallow me up, for they be many that fight against me, O thou most high. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. And hey, those times are coming where we're going to be afraid because of the conditions in society. Right, and part of the prophecy is Isaiah 10 and 20, that we're not going to lean upon our oppressors, but we're going to lean upon the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in truth. All right, it says, in God I will praise his word. In God I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me. Every day they wrest my words. All right. All their thoughts are against me for evil. And this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the most diabolical creature known to mankind, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. They are always twisting what I say. This is the NLT, verse 5. They are always twisting what I say. They spend their days plotting to harm me. And that's going to be the reality in the future. This whole global reset, this new world order. All right, they gather themselves together. They hide themselves. They mark my steps when they wait for my soul. Right, verse 6 in the NLT, they come together to spy on me, watching my every step, eager to kill me. Right, and we just went into the word kill in Revelations 13:15, which is them cutting you off, essentially cutting you off. All right, shall they escape by iniquity? Thine anger, it's like thine anger cast down the people. In thine anger cast down the people, O God. Right, because the Lord's going to raise up a standard, okay? Don't let them get away with their wickedness in your anger, O God. NLT says, bring them down, all right? That's right, man. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, because we're coming into those times. I'm trying to think if I had anything else. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Isaiah 10 and 20. Isaiah 10 and verse 20. A remnant will return. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob. All right, escape from what? We're going to be escaped from this society, because eventually the Lord's going to, raise that standard and, loose the chains, so to speak. Shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. Right, the NLT says, in that day, the remnant left in Israel, the survivors in the house of Jacob. Right, because we know 2/3 are going to die by way of not just thermonuclear fire, but leading up to the thermonuclear fire, there's going to be, the draconian law. People are going to be put to death. All right. It says, will no longer depend on allies who seek to destroy them, right, which that's Esau, but they will faithfully trust the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. That's right, man. The remnant will return. Yes, the remnant of Jacob will return to the mighty God. That's right. Lord, this lesson has been edifying. Until next time, I say shalom.